The latest stop in the Qatari foreign minister's tour of friendly capitals, Paris. He insists his country is ready for talks to end the week-old Gulf diplomatic crisis, but expresses surprise his country is now facing blockades and isolation from Saudi Arabia and others.
Our policy with Iran actually was aligned with the Gulf countries, was according to the GCC summit decisions. We didn't have a policy which is more, or we didn't have a cooperation which is more than the other of the Gulf countries. If the problem of the Gulf countries was Iran, we don't have the same size of trade of Emirates or Saudi or the other countries.
And he says his country's foreign policy is not up for discussion.
Whatever it's related to our foreign policy, this is a subject of the sovereignty of our country. We have an independent foreign policy. We have an independent decision. Our foreign policy is being based on our own assessment and our own principles. Anything related to our internal affairs, which is like Al Jazeera and the other stuff, this is something no one has the right to discuss, or no one has the right to dictate or to impose.
New French President Emmanuel Macron has been working behind the scenes to ease the crisis, making calls to key players on all sides. But across the Atlantic, US President Donald Trump insisted the action against Qatar was justified, even as he talked up a proposed arms deal with Saudi Arabia.
These deals will bring many thousands of jobs to our country, and in fact will bring millions of jobs ultimately, and help Saudi Arabia take a greater role in providing stability and security in that region. One of the big things that we did, and you're seeing it now with Qatar and all of the things that are actually going on in a very positive fashion, we are stopping the funding of terrorism. They are going to stop the funding of terrorism.
In Qatar, the national airline is working to cope with new pressures brought on by an air blockade. Its planes can no longer fly over Saudi, Bahrani or Emirati airspace, adding time and cost to operations. Its head, said to be a personal friend of Donald Trump, has openly criticised him for taking sides.
We expect our friends to stand up with us in this unfair, illegal blockade conducted by 4 countries. In addition to this, I want the American people to realize that they are trying to intimidate a small country which has the closest relation with the United States. I think that that President Trump's comments about my country is ill-placed, ill-informed, and I can again repeat that I'm very disappointed in him.
Qatar's only land border with Saudi Arabia remains closed. A significant amount of the country's imports come through here. Now, nothing is moving. But speaking to Al Jazeera, Qatar's economy minister insists his country remains strong.
We built a reserve, a strategic reserve for the main strategic, either food or also other materials for our project. That's why we were ready to deal with such a situation immediately, within hours, immediately.
In the coming days, it's expected that the diplomatic shuttling we've seen over the past week will continue, with all sides talking to friends and allies. But what they're hearing from friends and allies is it would be better if all sides in this crisis were sitting down, speaking to each other. Alan Fisher, Al Jazeera, Doha.